Well, here we are, the Monty and the Pharaoh show. Although Monty and the Pharaoh had to take a break, you have a special surprise guest over here today in the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, and the Reinforcer, Andrew Anderson, as we discuss life, wrestling, the brother daddy brother of the metal maniac.
Jeff, are you there?
Surprise! Brother, you missed
I
it.
can't believe it. Bro, I miss you, but you know, I have to say, Kevin Sullivan, I've never been able to say this to you because we've spent lots of little bits of time together.
Yes,
But I gotta
brother.
say, brother.
Are you trying to say he's little?
brother,
Are you trying to say he's a
no,
little
I'm
bit
saying that. No, I'm saying that over the years we've spent time, but small bits of time, never long periods like the two of you. But I gotta say, Kevin, honest to God, brother, you know, I don't want to ever leave this earth, or anybody leave this earth without you hearing this from me, brother. There's a lot of people that call themselves smart or brain or one of the brains, and my goodness me, the things that you have concocted and come up with and had your hand in. I mean, it's just not real.
Well, now he's
absolutely not
now
real.
he's concocting and working and putting together, along with James Beard and
Teddy Long.
Teddy Long and Mark Henry, an amazing product called SWE Fury.
Well, as you know, Jeff, I stole everything from Curtis and Lewin. You know, actually, all I'm doing is regurgitating the knowledge that they passed on. I mean, you've been around every great guy that drew money that ever came through the islands, including yourself. I mean, it's pretty hard not to be able to put something together back in the day when Mark and I first went to Honolulu, and they were drawing $9,000 every 3 weeks, and then 6 months later we did $260,000 at Aloha Stadium. All I did was listen to what those guys had to say. And, you know,
I saw the films. I saw the films when I first came here. They had them on.
Yeah.
I saw all the films. You on the beach with the purple haze and everything on the beach, and you were like, we're gonna pull your skin off your face.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys were out of your mind.
But we also had Curtis, we had Brody, we had, you know, that was the Rock's, as everybody knows, Leah is the Rock's grandmother. We had, that territory was an open territory where we had shows where we had the WWF guys on, the NWA. Me and Mark actually wrestled Fuji in Morocco when they worked for the WWF, and we were working for the NWA. We had Inoki on the show, we had Brody on the show, we had the original Sheik on the show, we had Hanson on the show. But I mean, you know, my favorite of all the Hawaiian
Angelo
wrestlers, Angelo Mosca, goes on and on and on. But in my belief, I don't think there was a better talker. As great as The Rock is, I think The Rock got his speaking ability from watching King Curtis on the beach enthrall people just by talking to them. There was never an orator like King Curtis, and I've told Andrew about him. He's been around him a little, but when Curtis talked to you, you were mesmerized. And I think that is where The Rock got his. I mean, The Rock is the star of stars now, what he's done in Hollywood. But you being a wrestling historian, I ran into this agent, and his name was Dave Vanderhyde, and the book is called Old School Ring Squared. And most wrestling books are done, you know, historical. This is a historical novel, and if you get it, I want you to read it, Jeff, and try this, and tell me who you think these characters are, because you know who the characters are. They're just changing the names to protect the innocent. But whoever got this knowledge, it goes so deep in our business, and I don't want to get into a lot of it. I think people should read it. You're going to be able to pick out characters that you and I knew. So
Yes.
I'm going to let Andrew
Yes.
take it over
He
from
messaged me one day and said, "You got to really read this book." And I started reading the book, and I'm wondering, the stories sound vaguely familiar, but with different twists on it or different perspectives. He said, "You got to read this book." So I read this book, and I said, "Who wrote this?" I said, "This is just incredible." And we were trying to figure out for the longest time who the writer was. And it's got to be a shadow writer or something, right?
Something's happening to the audio.
So,
Hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear you, Jeff.
Something's happening to the audio.
I got you. Something's happened to the audio.
Can
again.
you hear us, Jeff?
Hello?
Yep, I think his
I'm
internet's
losing you
it
guys
again,
somehow.
But I can hear you.
So you guys just keep talking.
Yeah,
Well, I can hear him. And,
Well, Jeff, we can hear you,
Shit.
so we'll keep on talking.
just keep on talking. Stay in place.
I want to ask you, you're living in Hawaii now, am I correct?
I don't think you can hear
Okay.
us. Well, let me tell you a funny story. Jeff was one of the people directly responsible for breaking me into the pro wrestling business. I was bouncing at a bar in North Jersey, and I was working as an investment banker during the weekdays, and I was bouncing on the weekends. And the funny story is that Jeff walked in with Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and I was throwing somebody out. Jeff was coming in, and I looked at this guy with this mullet, and right behind him was Superfly. And after I threw the guy out, Jimmy said to me, "I want to talk to you." And that Kevin, that's how I got in the business. It was I was carrying Jimmy and Jeff's bags for the longest time before that. I was the bag boy for about 6 months.
Well, I'm on my 4th generation of Samoan wrestlers, and I had the pleasure of wrestling in Samoa on a few occasions, and they're amazing athletes. A disproportionate number, as Monty and the Pharaoh know, there's a disproportionate number of island boys, whether Tongans or Samoans, that play in the NFL, and it isn't by chance. I mean, we go back to Haku, Barbarian, Jimmy, The Rock, the great Peter Maivia.
Siviafi.
Sivi Alpha, the original Samoans, Roman Reigns. But I'll tell you one of the things that is always stuck in my head. I got to meet Peter when I wrestled in San Francisco. And I came in there when Ray Stevens left, and to follow in the great Ray Stevens' footsteps was something.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw Peter was such a big raw bone guy. He was about 265 pounds, and he probably was a little over 6'1". But his vertical leap, his vertical leap was like they do in the NFL. I saw him leap one time and this is when in San Francisco in the Cow Palace, the ring was raised exceptionally high from the floor because the building was so big.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him vertically leap like Brock does onto the apron, and I thought, my God, what an athlete. And that's what, they're some of the greatest athletes that have been in our business. And, this story started with Jimmy Snuka. And the crazy thing is, a lot of the guys that got in the business because they were there that night when Jimmy jumped off the cage onto another Hawaiian, Don Morocco,
Madison Square Garden.
who is one of the great Hawaiian athletes of all time.
Oh, I think we were talking about great talkers. I think Don Morocco was one of the greatest talkers that ever was. Also, he's underrated, as well as being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I'll always say he's the original Rock. He was just amazing. So he was right up there with. I think he got a lot of his stuff from Curtis too.
I think everybody that went through Hawaii tried to learn under the learning tree with King Curtis. I mean, Curtis was, to me, the greatest talker I ever saw, and at least in that generation. I mean, Dusty.
Superstar.
I would be around great talkers, and whether it was Dusty, Superstar, Blackjack Mulligan, I'd ask them who they thought was the best, and they all said, there's nobody better than the King. The King of Swing. Walk the Milky Way one more time.
Jeff, can we hear you? Can we hear you out there yet, or is the audio still down?
Jeff is gone.
He's gone.
Jeff has bailed, so.
He's powdered.
Well, we'll talk about, let's talk about what's going on in the wrestling business. We've been in Texas, and there is a movement in Texas. It's called SWE Fury.
SWE Fury, yep.
And Andrew, you're a big part of it, so tell us about some of the guys like.
Oh, we got a lot of hard-hitting action out of Texas style of wrestling. Everybody compares us to world class now. Amazing athletes. I mean, the big feud of the year over there is definitely Max Castellanos versus Moonshine Mantell. I've been in the ring with Moonshine, and Moonshine's no laughing matter. He's a talented kid, and his opponent is quite a talented guy. And these guys are going to go places. You have amazing cast and crew. I like to say it of behind the scenes of Jazz running the women's division. With Malaya Hosaka and other people involved, and obviously Teddy Long, James
General
Beard.
Manager.
Yep, the general manager.
Then we have
and yourself,
the great Mark Henry, the strongest guy.
Mark Henry contributing with a lot of the seminars and in charge of a lot of the students that are coming in. He's really taken a.
What did you think of the last card where we had Davey Boy Smith Jr.
versus the Blood Hunter?
Blood Hunter was an incredible hard-hitting match.
Yep.
We had Rodney Mack,
Yep.
who looks like he was sculptured.
Yep.
Hard-hitting. We had a new tag team, the OMGs, who actually started. They've been in the wrestling business for a while, but they came out of Rodney Mack's camp 6 months ago, became tag team champions.
Yep.
They had the star from the past. I always say that SWE Fury reminds me of the past, the present, and the future.
Absolutely.
And it's a great blend.
Absolutely.
The next show is when, Andrew?
The next show is going to be March 20th, and that is in, I want to say, Canton, Texas. And then our next show after that will be April 24th. It's pretty amazing the amount of crowds that we've been drawing. I can't fathom when when Texas fully opens up how many people we will draw on these shows. It's just pretty incredible. I mean, the fan response has been tremendous, and I guess it's because we're putting out a product that's different from everything else. Yeah. I mean, Jeff was saying how you were one of the most brilliant minds in wrestling, and obviously I concur. You're throwing Teddy Long's know-how, yours, James Beard's know-how for years of working with New Japan and World Class. I mean, it's a no-win situation. I mean, it's a no-brainer, a win-win situation. And the women's division is the one I'm really excited
can I interrupt
about.
Right now about the women's? When I saw Teal Piper on the card,
Yep.
I mean, the daughter of Roddy Piper is going to have a segment called Teal's Tomb, a play off their real last name. I mean, and then we got Gangrel coming in.
Yep.
Mil Mortis. They have.
We just had Lacey Von Erich, the daughter of Kerry Von Erich.
Tim Storm, Jax, and Crimson. There is a whole load of great talent from the present. And that's what's a pleasure to see, is these guys who have put in the time, who have learned the craft, are starting to bud. And they're starting to shine. And I think what makes me the happiest, each show you can see the growth. Last show, they hit the capacity. They could have only 1/3 of the capacity. They hit it. They turn people away. When it looks like Texas is opening up next show, I'll be interested in seeing this. They're in 31 markets around the country. There's a lot. Oh, we had Trevor Murdoch defend
Trevor Murdoch, defended the NWA
belt.
national title. Yep.
Yeah, so
we had Trevor Murdoch, and of course,
Charlie Haas. We didn't
Charlie
talk about
Haas, the
Charlie
heavyweight
Haas.
champion. The heavyweight champion, Charlie Haas. I mean, he beat Tim Storm for the belt. So how amazing the intensity of Charlie Haas is just incredible. The man's a total maniac, and we're managed by the same manager, Nigel Rabbit. So we're technically in the Rabbit Empire, and of course you can't forget my dealings with the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
And I didn't eat the worms.
Yeah. And the other thing is, from what I hear, one of the big matches coming up is going to be Monty and the Pharaoh against two of the ladies wrestlers. And,
Jello, or it was going to be
it was going to be a
hot
oil match, and I'll be glad to see that.
Yep, Jimmy Farrow covered in hot oil.
Yeah. So I think they're going to defend their belts. Monty and the Pharaoh have not been beaten in a hot oil match in the last 16 years. The last time was between Moolah and Joyce Grable.
Oh man, Farrell's gonna be angry, boy.
Mike Monty, can you imagine Mike Monty in a Speedo
Oh boy, that's scary.
rolling around with some of the female athletes?
That's scary stuff, man. You don't want to talk about that stuff. Look out. You guys like the Abbott and Costello of
Oh yeah, look, I got the hat too. Whoa, 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 whoa. You got your hat, your fedora.
How did you guys meet?
Me and Kevin?
Yeah.
We met. Well, we met
A long time ago, WCW.
Yep.
Yeah. Andrew was a big time power lifter. And
I was trying out.
Yeah, and he just had the look, and he was a natural. And as you know, you've had him great talker.
But I never got picked up. Oh!
We always talk about great talkers. He's one of the great talkers. So I think that finally his ship has come in with this SWE Fury. Tom Lance has been working hard at this for a long time. Craig Massey now is the attorney for some
The
of
attorney
the
for
wrestlers.
SWE Fury, yep.
So this should be very, this year, hopefully, when we're opened up all around the country, we will see SWE Fury in markets outside of Texas.
And you can't forget, you got another second generation female wrestler in Miranda Gordy.
Yeah.
So Terry Bam Bam Gordy's daughter.
I don't mean to
Go
interrupt,
ahead.
but I seem to be doing that quite a bit.
It's all right.
But the other night in the ring, we had a Gordy, we had a Von Erich, and a Piper at the same time.
Amazing, right?
That's pretty amazing.
Amazing.
I wish someone had taken. I'm sure they did. But that picture is worth volumes.
That event could have been called Generations.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. So a great amount of talent in coming out of the Texas area, and it's not only from Texas. The talent is from all over the country, and we just happen to be converging in Texas because Texas is where everything has been pretty much opened up, and it's right.
Yeah, and I forgot we were talking about young talent. That Bam Bam Malone.
Oh, Bam Bam Malone, and
The guy's 400 pounds, can move like he's a.
no, Bam Bam Malone was the tag team. He's tag teaming with Road Warrior Animals, Heartthrob.
I'm sorry, yes,
Yep.
yes.
They're the tag. They were in the tag team tournament.
But I meant to say that he's very, very muscular, very, very fast, and you're going to see some guys come out of there, and you're going to say, I remember seeing them win.
And how about that monster, Diamos?
Oh,
It's with Teal
yeah.
Piper in the House of
Yeah.
Heathens.
Yeah.
That guy is like a combination of a Goldberg Luger, just a monster, jacked up. And then you can't forget that match with Harry Smith and the Blood Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was pretty.
And then next show we got Gangrel coming in.
Gangrel's coming in. And,
Everybody seems to be knocking on the door to come in.
It's
so
great.
It's going to be
It's
interesting.
great. And
Do you
Teddy
guys
Long
wish
has
you
his hands
were
full. I
a
mean,
little younger so you could work with this talent?
Do I?
Yeah.
No. They're so good. They're so good. I mean, I don't. One of the things is, yeah, in a way, I would, but I'll tell you something. I was watching some old clips of football players, and yeah, they were good in their day, but it was their day. I'm a firm believer in what Satchel Paige said. Don't look back. Something may be gaining on you. You can't live in the past. You can have enjoyed it, but you have to move on and look forward to different things. But this is a whole different training routines, eating. I just read that last year, LeBron James and Tom Brady both spent over $1.5 million just on nutrition, special diets. So, back in the day, the guys didn't get paid that way. So,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
wow. A voice
Okay,
from the
I'm
past.
back. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm
brother,
sorry,
daddy,
brother.
brother, what happened? We thought a
I'm
tsunami
sorry, brother,
came.
man.
We thought a tsunami
No,
came
no,
and washed the maniac away from the
Yeah,
shores of
listen,
Waikiki to the
Jeff,
beaches of Pensacola.
Before-
I think you had a flashback and you were up in Cocoa
I had
Head.
I had a flashback of myself and that cookie in 3 days and 3 nights watching the sun rise and set.
With Curtis on top
Kevin,
of
tell me.
Chubby
Kevin,
Chubby
Kevin,
dummy.
tell me something.
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
tell me something, Kevin.
Yes.
Tell me. Years ago,
Yes.
there was a woman that Curtis used to talk about. He said the lady, the one-eyed lady on the 49th floor.
Yeah.
Who the hell was the 40 lady from the 49th
It
floor?
was some lady that he met that had a condo, and you were talking about you had the cosmic cookie with Curtis,
Yep.
and you had 3 days of sunrise, sunset. I think Curtis had 7 days with the lady, the one eye, sunrise, sunset. So I mean, some of the great times we all had were on top of Cocoa Head, looking at Diamond Head with Curtis. I remember I was up there one time with Henning, Mark. I think you were there, Hawk, Rocky. There was just a host of great guys.
Well, Jeff, you introduced me to the King. Remember, we in 2000.
Yeah, we went up to his house,
We went up to his house.
and Curtis was cool. He always would tell me stuff, and one day, as you know, he tells a story. It's like a rapture.
Oh my God!
So he's got me in the front of his van, and we're smoking a big fatty Mac Daddy about the size of my finger over here, and this is what he does. And Kevin, Drew, you did this, but Kevin knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is what he does. He said, as he's talking to me, he's getting closer and closer, and he's talking softer and softer. And as he's saying to me, Jimmy Snuka was young Mr. Hawaii. He had a body of a lion. And when he said that, my head smacked into the door, and Curtis was laughing his dolos off, going, "I had you eaten out of my hand, kid. I could have made you fall onto the floor to listen to the story I was going to tell." And he was right.
When you introduced me to
I
him,
swear.
I just remember the van pulled up, and the billowing smoke out of the van. It was like he had his own entrance, and the eagle has landed. Remember that? The eagle has landed. He put that foot down, held out to the side of the van, and the other foot came down. And that was all I remember. First meeting Curtis.
Kevin, I don't know what Drew has told you, but all I can tell you is the night that he was at that bar, he flew over me to get to Jimmy.
Yep.
He was the biggest mark, which that's fine because we're all marks for the business, and we're all marks for each other, and we're all marks for everybody. and the thing and the whole gimmick. But Drew was like, he was a linebacker. He was running in there. Now, mind you, Drew wasn't as big as he is now, and he isn't as strong as he is now, but he still was big and strong. And he blew past all these 9-to-5 ham and eggers, and he was right on top of Jimmy. He was on top of him, literally on top of him, like, "Oh, Jimmy, can I get your autograph?"
And I didn't ask him for his autograph. I said, Jimmy. And Jimmy looks at me and goes, "Brother." And then you looked at me and went, "Oh, whoa, 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 don't get too close." I remember you saying, "Don't
That's
get
right.
too close."
Well, don't forget when we would go out with Jimmy,
Oh,
there would be a
mobbed.
lot of people. Like, we'd have to like,
Yep.
keep people back and say, okay, 2 at a time, and then for the funniest stuff, honest to goodness, really, I mean, what Kevin was talking about, all those tapes that were down here of World Pacific Championship Wrestling. Everybody from Rocky Johnson to like Frank and Bundy and Stan Hansen and the guys from the South, and you guys. I mean, there were people coming in and out of here, Kevin. This was a hot spot.
Yeah.
This real hacksaw. This was a real hot spot for wrestling, and now, Ultimate Fighting sells out, but wrestling. Vince could bring everybody, The Rock, everybody. I've seen it, and he can't put 7,000 people at the Blaisdell.
Yeah.
But you guys, like you said, you had turned around a small little thing and exploded it, and you guys took it as far as I remember seeing Curtis do interviews with his back towards the TV, and they would say, "Why can't you turn around?" And he would say, "If they want to see me, they can take their chubby fingers and put them in their pockets and come pay to see me."
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you. Who was the first person to gorilla press you? Who was the first person to gorilla press you?
Well, the first person to gorilla press me, or the first person to I reluctantly let gorilla press me. Which one is that?
Reluctantly.
That's you. That would be you. That brother. He throws me off the top. That's not enough, Kevin. I just had the cervical spinal fusion. He picks me up and he goes to throw me into the 5th row where there's just marks. There's no workers. He just wants to throw me. So I hooked the top rope at the end and I flew him down to the floor. And I hit it. I'm saying to myself, what is wrong with this guy? He got so excited. Here, it's right here. Look. I just want to know. See, I saved everything. Hey, look, Kevin. Look at he's slamming me. You see? Oh, look where my feet are, Kevin. They're in the lights for Drew. Look, the feet are in the lights for Drew. Look at that. That was his hot spot.
He goes. He says,
"What the hell?"
He goes, don't slam it, don't slam it. Can we hear you? I still got you, right?
No, I got you.
Oh, you got us.
I got you. I can hear you good.
Oh, look at that picture.
Got you.
Wow.
Hey,
pull that up. Look at that.
Go.
Look at that. Look at a young Anderson.
Yeah.
Put it up higher, Jeff.
Well,
can you see?
Can
you see this picture?
Over. There you go.
so
A little more. The other direction. The other direction.
So you still playing in the rock and roll band in Hawaii?
I still
separate
play
ways?
music and I still keep my chops. But we did a 6-year deal for USO and the Military's Welfare and Recreation Department, and it was a Journey tribute show.
Separate
and the
ways,
guy
right?
was from Long Island. Yeah, Separate Ways, Hawaii. And
Well, guys, Jeff.
but if you go,
Jeff, we're getting the we're getting the old cue to wind it up.
They gave us the Iggy.
Hey, I really appreciate you getting to re-talk to you after all these years, and God bless and good luck.
Yeah, me too.
I love you, buddy.
Thanks, brother. I'll be seeing you guys down the road when this COVID is over with.
Aloha.
We'll go up to Diamond Head and maybe have a cosmic cookie, one or two. Thank you, baby.
Taste the cosmic cookie.
And we'll
Monty
go
and the
close
Pharaoh.
down Drew's
Thank
favorite
you, guys.
sushi place.
Good night, guys.